Hello, welcome back to Auto Pop Culture. Today we're going to be going over the album Yours to Keep by Sticky Fingers. It came out a couple of weeks ago. So Sticky Fingers have a long history of a lot of stuff that's happening in their career. So they're a reggae rock band from Australia, Sydney specifically. So they were... So they had they started off with acoustic kind of sound, and they moved from there to reggae rock, and it sounded really great, and I like them since I've gotten to them around, the first single I ever heard from them was Australia Street, and I got into that album, and from that album I went on from there, and I really, really like them, their sounds and everything, and so on top of that, they had a lot of stuff that went down, a lot of controversies. Like the lead singer had a lot of was abusing a lot of drugs and a lot of alcohol during a time of their fame, and on top of that, he acted very inappropriately with a lot of other stuff. Like he had a lot of he had a lot of remarks towards a lot of different other bands, especially Indigenous Aboriginal bands, and a singer that allegedly he spat on. So a lot of things had happened with that type of thing that made the whole group in whole decide to take a 2-year hiatus to kind of lay low, and they apologized and everything, but still laid it low for 2 years. And I didn't know this for the whole time because I was just wondering where they went, and finally got this answer later on. So now they're back, and it's definitely reminds me. This album reminds me a lot of what happened to Kings of Leon, how they was also getting to the top and was doing the Southern rock and everything, I'm a huge fan of them. But they had a thing where it's just everything was going well, but then the lead singer started getting into alcohol a lot, had a lot of abusing alcohol, and then started just being shitty. A lot of things he did, he showed up to practices and to performances drunk and everything, to the point that one of the performances they cut down the stop, canceled the whole tour and canceled that concert in the middle of it because he literally threw up in the back off stage. So it was one of those things, they had to call it quits, and then they came back, and he had so much more of a clean type of controlled voice. Not that his voice before was great, but it was a little more slurred, and this time it's much more clearer, and he's talking about a lot of his stuff that's going on since then and what he's learned from it, and a lot of metaphors through it. And so this album is exactly the same thing. It's just it's pretty much the lead singer's point of view of everything that's been going on, and how he grew from then, and so that. So it's really great sound. It's much more cleaner, it sounds like to me. So we're gonna get into it. So let's start with the first song, which is Sleep Alone. I feel like this was the apology that came, that they started off with this song I felt like it was an apology to the fans for being gone for so long, for having all this stuff that happens that affected the fans, affected a lot of people, how they kind of looked at him, which is funny because it's the most vulnerable song I felt like they've ever done in their whole type of albums. I feel like this is one of the most vulnerable one, and I love it. The next song is Loose Ends, which is one of what I felt like their first big political song, which is interesting. And it kind of gives me, they changed up their sound a little bit with this, because it sounds a little more like UK punk rock, which I like, and I think it's so cool that they have the will to change their sound around, because they've always done the reggae sound, but this actually switches it up, which is, I'm really glad. The next song is Cool and Calm, which I felt like it sounded like some of their early stuff, definitely the earlier stuff. And I feel like this song is also a lot of things. It's just a lot of things on the very metaphorical, super metaphorical. And and the way that he talks is very. He talks, the way he sings is very with rhythm. So sometimes you won't really get everything that he's saying. But I love it. I love this song because it's giving that early stuff. It feels like it's like this album so far like kind of showcase like each song of what they could do, like all their abilities that they have, which is this whole album does that. So, and this is the one of them. So the next song is another episode, which is it's another one where just he kind of admits that he's a hot mess, or he was a hot mess, and he doesn't want to fall into that thing that he had before, where he had where he doesn't want to fall into where he just fucks up his whole career, what he did last time. Like that pretty much ruined them a lot, which is, I'm glad that they're be able to make another album that whole controversy kind of ruined them a lot. But this one kind of talks about it and talks about his addiction and everything that went on. And in the middle of it, which is kind of cool, which is another thing of them showcasing their talents, is that he starts rapping in the middle of it. And it's like a sing rap kind of thing, but it's just, it sounds so great. And it just, like, the whole song is pretty good. The next song is Not Done Yet, which is supposed to be dedicated to a friend who was associated with Sticky Fingers. He was associated with them, helped them write some songs and stuff like that, and he's part of the Wild and the People band, and his name is Menu. So it's pretty much it's like a dedication towards him. It's a really good song. Kick On was their lead song to was it? I think so. Was their lead song to this album, which is, I like this song because it doesn't sound It's one of those songs where it's just like the beginning doesn't sound like them, but then it moves on to sounding like them and breaks and pieces of it. And I love this song. It's one of my favorites. I love how they start off with a more like a punk sound in the beginning, and then they move over into the second verse, and it moves into like the reggae sound they usually have, and it just it sounds great. And so this song is about like them about him kind of being in a relationship wanting to be in a relationship with somebody else that wants to be in a relationship with him, but they're both very, very used to being single and very jaded in some ways. So it's hard for them to kind of like combine together, to trust enough each other, to let go, to be with each other. So I thought it was pretty cool. Hyper is another song, and the next song, and I felt like I didn't really care for this one. I felt like it was pretty meh. So there's that song, and then the next song is Sleeping Through the Flood, which is I love this song because it sounds first of all, his head vocals, it's pretty good. It's really, really good, and the guitar, I can't really explain exactly how to think of it. The only thing I can kind of direct it towards is like flamenco. Like it has that weird flamenco sound solo in the middle of it, like guitar solo that sounds more flamenco versions, and I love that. I think it sounds great. The next song is Sunsick Moon, which is, I love this song because it has great chords, and the song it drifts so perfectly, and his voice just eases through the whole thing, and I really definitely recommend listening to it to give it a try. And then the title song, which is next, is Yours to Keep, and I don't want to be yours to keep. I'm such a waste. And it seems like he's kind of doing it's one of the lyrics, and he feels like he kind of is kind of just saying just like, I'm a hot mess right now. Like I don't want to be associated with anything, with falling in love and everything, because I just have a lot of growing to do on myself before I can kind of give myself to somebody else, kind of thing, you know. And I really like that. I really like the beat kind of kicks in later on, which is kind of fun, and I love the guitar, but I love the guitar kind of carries it throughout the majority of the song, which is really great. And also I love this song because it's the first time they actually use, in this whole thing, where he uses his full vocals, where he kind of belts out the vocals, which is pretty great. And finally, the last song, it's Junk. This was kind of a sad ending to it, like not in a bad way, in a great way. It was just like the whole like heaven has no place for me, and it's like that, and it was just like, excuse me, it kind of just like reminded me, like it's obviously coming off that he's feeling very guilty over what's going on and what happened through everything, and just like he's a complete mess, you know. And I feel like this whole album kind of just like admits it's just like a lot of shit that I've done, is a shit show, and I'm just a shit show. So until I grow and learn from what I've done, this is how I am, and this is how I could. But it's just like he's trying to work on himself. I feel like this whole album is like it's his apology, his understanding his explaining and understanding what's going on, and then the last is how much it affected him, you know. And so I think that's kind of cool, and I think it's just. It's pretty deep for him to have that kind of like to admit it, you know, because it comes off the controversies that was going on and the stuff that he was saying. It made it seem like he wasn't really apologizing too much. It felt like he was kind of just like it felt like he didn't really believe that what he was doing was anything wrong. So, but I'm glad that this is the song that he decides to bring into it. So yeah, so that's it. So that's the whole album of Yours to Keep by Sticky Fingers. Tell me what you think in a comment below. If you like it, if you didn't like it, what do you think about the controversy that came between Sticky Fingers? Do you bring them back into your graces, or are you kind of over them? I totally understand. It's a lot like in America. There's a lot of pop stars and rap stars and a lot of just different people in different genres that have a lot of bad rap. So it's interesting to see how, and I'm very curious because I don't really know, but like it's interesting to see how fans have adapted to their kind of sound and everything, and if they're okay with them coming back, or should they kind of let it die from what it was. But anyway, so that's it, and let me know what you thought. And I hope everybody is having a great week, and I'll see you guys in the next video.